From our Chicago studios, this is the Muslim News on Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum, I'm Samana Siddiqui. Our top story tonight. Pakistan conducted military strikes inside Iran's Sistan-Balochistan province less than 48 hours after Iran violated its airspace. The Pakistan Army says it targeted hideouts used by terrorist organizations, including the Balochistan Liberation Army and the Balochistan Liberation Front. Iran's IRNA news agency reports 9 casualties in the attack on a village near Saravan, with all the victims identified as foreign nationals. Pakistan's Foreign Office says that the sole objective of the operation was to protect Pakistan's security and national interests, respecting Iran's sovereignty. This retaliation came after Iran launched attacks in Pakistan earlier, prompting condemnation and a diplomatic downgrade. Pakistan's Foreign Office says strikes were aimed to eliminate terrorists responsible for attacks in Pakistan following years of shared concerns with Iran regarding safe havens for terrorists. China has expressed its willingness to mediate between Pakistan and Iran, given their close partnership with both countries. The Palestinian Health Ministry reports 93 deaths in the past 24 hours in Gaza due to Israeli strikes. These attacks took place in a designated safe zone. In Khan Yunis, where heavy Israeli shelling has been taking place for the past 2 consecutive nights, residents fear a possible ground attack by Israeli forces on Nasser Hospital, the largest functioning hospital in Gaza. The Israeli military claims to have killed 60 Palestinian fighters in the last 24 hours, with most of the casualties in southern Khan Yunis and others in northern Gaza. Qatar and France have sent 61 tons of aid, including medicine and food, to Gaza. This is part of a newly announced agreement which was welcomed by the International Committee of the Red Cross. Israel's war on Palestine has so far killed 24,448 Palestinians and wounded 61,504, with 1,139 deaths in Israel attributed to the Hamas attack on October 7th. Al Jazeera journalist Wael al-Dahdouh has arrived in Egypt from Gaza on his way to Qatar for medical treatment. The Egyptian Journalist Syndicate confirmed that Egyptian authorities facilitated his arrival. Dahdouh, whose wife, 2 sons, daughter, and grandson were killed by Israeli attacks on Gaza, had been injured while covering events in Khan Yunis last month, where his colleague was killed. He was recently honored with the Press Freedom Award for 2024 by the Egyptian Journalist Syndicate for his resilience during Israeli attacks. Israel's continuous air and ground assaults on Gaza have killed over 24,000 Palestinians and led to severe displacement and extensive infrastructure damage. Egyptian authorities have not commented on Dahdouh's arrival. Secretary of State Antony Blinken says Arab countries are reluctant to invest in the reconstruction of Gaza, fearing it may face devastation again in the future. Speaking at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland this week, Blinken emphasized the need to address the Palestinian issue comprehensively for lasting security in the region. He highlighted a shift in Arab nations' willingness to engage with Israel, but noted their commitment to a path leading to a Palestinian state. Israel's recent war on Palestine has resulted in a significant loss of life and infrastructure damage. The United Nations reports that 85% of Gaza's population is internally displaced, facing shortages of essential supplies. 60% of Gaza's infrastructure remains damaged or destroyed. Public Citizen has raised the alarm about the lack of action by the Federal Election Commission, or FEC, in addressing AI-generated deepfake images in election advertisements. The consumer advocacy group stresses that AI-generated content poses a significant threat to truth and democracy in elections. While the FEC initially advanced Public Citizen's request for rulemaking in August, no further action has been taken. As a result, experts fear a tsunami of misinformation in the 2024 election cycle. While federal lawmakers have introduced legislation to regulate AI use in federal elections, state and local races remain unregulated. Public Citizen has repeatedly called for new rules banning deep fakes in campaign materials. Notable incidents include a fake image circulated by Ron DeSantis' campaign, as well as deep fake audio clips distributed by Donald Trump's campaign. Public Citizen insists that banning AI-generated content in political campaigns is crucial to preserve democracy and prevent chaos. A Maine court has decided to wait for a Supreme Court ruling before passing a verdict on Donald Trump's eligibility for the Republican primary ballot in the state. State Superior Court Judge Michaela Murphy says the Supreme Court's involvement in the case changes the order of decision-making and court jurisdiction. The Supreme Court is scheduled to begin hearing oral arguments on February 8th. relating to Trump's eligibility in Colorado. Its ruling in that case may have far-reaching implications nationwide. Judge Murphy has ordered Maine Secretary of State Shanna Bellows to review her decision to bar Trump from the state ballot within 30 days after the Supreme Court's decision. Bellows had earlier determined that Trump was disqualified under the 14th Amendment's Section 3. This was because of his alleged involvement in insurrection or rebellion during the January 6, 2021 attack on the U.S. Capitol. Meanwhile, other states have rejected similar challenges to Trump's candidacy. Nearly 50,000 veterans in the U.S. used a suicide prevention program in 2023. Details after the break, so stay tuned, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. Approximately 50,000 American veterans used an emergency suicide prevention program in 2023 that was initiated by the Department of Veterans Affairs, or VA. It allows eligible veterans and certain former service members in acute suicidal crises to access a no-cost emergency health care at any VA or non-VA facility. The agency says the benefit provides veterans with life-saving care and savings of more than $64 million in health care costs. VA Secretary Dennis McDonough says there is nothing more important than preventing veterans from taking their own lives. In 2021, 6,392 veterans died by suicide. According to the organization Stop Soldier Suicide, veterans are at a 57% higher risk of taking their own lives than those who have not served. The UN has issued a warning about Yemen's heavy dependence on commercial imports and humanitarian aid. The world body issued the warning in response to the U.S. redesignating the Houthi group in Yemen as foreign terrorists. UN spokesperson Stéphane Dujarric stressed the UN's commitment to providing humanitarian support while maintaining principles of impartiality, neutrality, and independence. The U.S. decision was made due to Houthi attacks in the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden. It includes sanctions on the Iran-backed group, which will take effect in 30 days. The Houthis' previous terrorist designation hindered aid delivery to Yemen, which is already one of the world's poorest nations. The 10th anniversary of the imprisonment of Uyghur academic and activist Ilham Tohti was commemorated with international demands for his release. The Nobel Peace Prize nominee was arrested on January 15, 2014, for advocating for the rights of the Uyghur minority in northwest China. He received a life sentence in 2014 and has not been seen since 2017. The U.S. State Department called for Tohti's immediate release, condemning China's suppression of Uyghur rights and its acts of genocide and crimes against humanity, which have been documented by human rights organizations and activists. The Congressional Executive Commission on China has also urged an end to his unjust detention on social media. Tohti's nomination for the Nobel Peace Prize in 2020 and 2023 drew attention to his commitment to peaceful inter-ethnic dialogue. His daughter, Johar Ilham, demanded proof of her father's well-being from the Chinese government. Human rights groups marked the anniversary by calling for global pressure on China to release Tohti, emphasizing the mistreatment of Uyghur advocates by the Chinese government. The European Court of Human Rights has ordered Lithuania to pay over $100,000 in compensation to Mustafa al-Housawi. The judgment is the latest of the court's rulings against countries involved in the CIA's secret detention program. Housawi is a Saudi former detainee held at a CIA black site on Lithuanian territory following the 9/11 attacks. The court found that he endured severe mistreatment. This included solitary confinement, constant leg shackling, and exposure to harsh noise and light at the prison. The court says Lithuanian authorities were aware of these abuses and violated Housawi's rights by cooperating with the CIA. It has also ordered Lithuania to conduct a thorough investigation into Housawi's case, which had been neglected for years. Karim Benzema has initiated legal proceedings against French Interior Minister Gérald Darmanin. The minister had accused the French football sensation of having connections to the Muslim Brotherhood. Benzema's attorney, Hugh Vigier, categorically stated that Benzema had no affiliations whatsoever with the group or its members to the best of his knowledge. He says the accusation has tarnished the athlete's reputation and honor. The allegations came to light after Benzema posted a message of solidarity with Palestinians in Gaza on social media. It conveyed support for Gaza's residents enduring unjust bombings, especially affecting women and children. That's all from our Chicago studios tonight. Thank you for tuning in. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell icon for the latest updates. For more content, keep watching Muslim Network TV or visit muslimnetwork.tv. Salam and good night.